Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin.
I'm Londa Sherwood Austin, and welcome back.
I'm super happy to be here today, except our studio right now feels like it's 4,000 degrees.
Loving every minute
I
of it.
want to take off my shirt. No one wants to see that, so I'm not gonna. But boy, am I on fire hot right now.
We need to bring the fan in from home. You're going to need it as the weather warms up. We have a beautiful sunny day in the Pacific Northwest here in beautiful Eastern Washington.
Right now
Loving
it's sunny and 71 degrees.
I got to get out of this
Washington.
office, so we got to hurry up this taping.
Okay.
So I can get out of here.
Let's blow through this show.
I'm also starving.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I went home and had a cheeseburger in paradise on our back patio and talked to Judy, our neighbor down the way. It was delightful.
Rude.
I made a single egg and some mushrooms, and I put that atop a cheeseburger that I made on the grill.
I was going to make cheeseburgers for dinner.
And we can eat cheeseburgers for dinner, too, because you can't have too many cheeseburgers. I did not waste time with bread, though. It was just right on the plate. It was delightful.
All right.
Delightful.
All right.
Also, I'm excited to be here today because my daily driver changed up a little bit today.
Gosh.
I came to this.
You're crazy.
I came to this recording in the RV.
Yeah. Because I guess when we're done here, you're planning to take it back to where we store it.
That's
Is that
exactly right.
I
yes.
didn't know. So now I have an extra errand.
Yeah, you have to
today.
follow me and then take me back home with you.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
Well, there you go.
I'm ready.
The Session with Londa and David is a business program that focuses on the three things that we are most interested in. That's real estate, retail, and restaurants.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
$3.55 for a short black Americano at
I didn't
Starbucks
know where you were going with
is ridiculous.
It is not cheap.
Insane in the brain.
Okay, so this is not part of the restaurant review that no one asked for, but I'm going to do it anyway. Sunday, on our way to our Sunday morning.
This is what we talk about.
Right. I'm doing it out of order. I'm not
Oh.
doing the restaurant review nobody asked for yet. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
So Sunday,
I'm reviewing Starbucks right now.
Okay, perfect. Sunday, on my way to sing in the choir, that's what I like to do on Sunday. I sit right next to a lender buddy of mine, Jim Zimmerman from Motto Mortgage. He and I sit together and we're in the choir. On the way there, I thought, you know what? Jim bought me coffee a few weeks ago. I'm going to stop at the old Starbucks and grab him a coffee. I know his favorite coffee order, so I stopped in. I order him a Grande Pike's Place. That's what I get him, right?
Okay, all right.
And then I got myself an Americano with sugar-free vanilla and a little bit of cream.
Okay.
Easy order. Pike's Place typically is the coffee that's already brewed. They turn around, the person that takes your order, and fills a cup and hands it to you while you wait for the other cup.
All right.
Nay, not so on this Starbucks occasion. And it took probably 5 minutes for the people that were having a conversation, not making coffees, to finally look at me and say, hey, has anybody gotten you that Pike's? No, they haven't. So the complaint I have is not the price of the coffee, which it is astronomical, but it's the fact that $4 $18 an hour part-time employees were standing there talking instead of making my drink.
Well, I had just gotten started. My initial complaint was the price.
Oh, okay.
I have others, same as you.
I couldn't believe it. They were smoking and joking and talking about how their night was so much fun the night before and blah, 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 and how busy it had been 2 hours earlier. Not making my drink.
Right.
I don't mean to be mean. It was pretty empty. But I stood there for 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm not trying to be mean either. When we review, we're not being mean. Like, I've been a long-standing fan of Starbucks.
Right. Me too.
But bloom's off the vine for me. I'm done. $3.55 for an 8-ounce black Americano. Come on, guys. Come on. $3.55. Like, I get it. Inflation, whatever. You pay your employees a lot. I get it. Fine. They've got free school and they've got free college offered to them, and they've got 401k and they've got health insurance, and that's great. And it's been great for our kids who have worked for them,
sure,
who eventually, left, but it's all just getting passed to me. And, I saw a TikTok recently that kind of along this same vein. Mm-hmm. And the guy was playing two characters, right? And he's like, how are two politicians? He's asking this question of politicians, and he goes, so how are you going to help with the cost of groceries in America right now? And then it flips, and it's still him, but he's pretending to be both parts, right? And it goes, electric vehicles mandatory. And it comes back to him, and he's like, no, I don't think that's going to do it.
Right.
I feel like that.
Yes.
Like Starbucks, great. You want to pay your employees $20 an hour. That's awesome. I don't want to pay them that because I don't want to pay $3.55 for an Americano. And that's all I'm saying. And so I know some of you, I hear it through the whatever podcast app you're using. I hear you saying, then why don't you just make coffee at home? I do.
That's what we do now.
That I hadn't gotten, I had not purchased something from Starbucks in a very long time anyway.
Right.
But I thought, you know what, darn it, I just feel like going in and doing, having the experience. Mm-hmm. And then this is part of my problem. Not only was it way more expensive than I thought it needed to be, but also my experience was a big downer.
Yeah.
The whole idea of Starbucks, it was supposed to be the third place, right?
Right.
And this is the place that kind of feels like home. That was the idea.
Right.
And I think the challenge that they have now is they do so much drive-through and pickup that, when it pick up like from the app, mobile app and all that stuff.
Sure.
Uber Eats and all that, and the drive-through. And those are a priority, by the way, for them. Drive-through is number one priority for them as employees. That's like the rule there. And so as a customer walking in, wanting to have a great experience, it's just not really, it doesn't really happen
you're
anymore.
Second class. If you're the guy that was working the drive-through and the one person making coffees for the drive-through, we're not standing around talking.
Right.
They were working the whole time.
Right.
Everybody else in the store was standing there swirling their rags that they were using to wipe stuff down. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, it was not dirty. It was a very clean environment. Yeah. But they were just chatting about their day. I found out all kinds of stuff about one girl's date the night before.
That's exciting, but also not what we were there for. So anyway, that's my whole review of Starbucks. I don't get it. Well, I don't see the value in going anymore. That's my point.
There you go. That's an interesting thing. It's like McDonald's with their order kiosks. I want to get customer service when I go somewhere, right?
When I go to McDonald's, I don't care about customer service. When I go to McDonald's, I'm probably having a hormonal fluctuation and a craving.
And so you're a drive-through girl, and that's all you care about.
Nugs and fries, man. There's just some days you got to get that nugs and fries and a Diet Coke, and you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know.
Yeah, it's so weird to me. Now, I say that, but I wasn't at the Starbucks that I frequent the most. The Starbucks that I frequent the most, listen to this, they call me by name when I walk in.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
And that is delightful. That is a delightful experience that I really enjoy.
Interesting. I've never heard them call you by name, but maybe I just wasn't. Maybe they only do it when I'm not there.
Well, it's because the lady who's running the morning shift at the one in front of the mall, I've known her since she was at a different Starbucks location. So she calls me by name and sometimes calls me by Jorge, which whenever anybody asks me my name at a coffee place, I automatically say Jorge. She now knows I'm David because I had two kids that worked at that store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I gotcha.
For me, that's worth it. I did not go to my Starbucks, though. I went to a different one, and nope.
Yep.
Wah, wah, wah.
You don't remember. There it is. There it is.
The sad trombone.
Yep. Okay, next.
Yes. What's next?
I did Starbucks. you do whatever you're doing next.
Okay. Often when we do the restaurant review that no one asked for, we have a lot of critical things to say. I'm going to change it up today.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about an old standby that I've been going to and feeling like I'm one of the owners for 20 years in this community.
Okay.
And it's Outback Steakhouse. I've taken a few realtors recently to Outback Steakhouse in my business, you know. Every time I go in there, I see someone who hasn't seen me in a long time. They're always excited to see me, and they talk to me personally they ask about the kids. I bet if I went to Outback Steakhouse today, somebody would say, hey, I hear it's Caitlin's birthday. Happy birthday, Caitlin. Our sweet Caitlin is 26 years old today.
Yes.
It's March 18th. So anyway, on Friday, we went and had lunch at Outback Steakhouse. And again, I like to sit in the bar because everybody who works in the bar at that Outback has known me for 20 years, literally. And they come over, they're thrilled to see us. They call us by name. They know what I'm going to order. They know exactly how I'm going to order it.
So here's what's funny about this. I recently had a little girls' lunch get together, and they said, where do you want to go? I said, Outback. They were like, are you serious? I said, yeah. Trust me on this one. We went, and the other two people I was with, both of them said, oh my gosh, I kind of forgot about Outback. And your Outback in your town might not be like this, but ours in our town, the service is great. The food is great.
It's super
I got
consistent.
no problems, except it's so expensive. And we were just talking about this recently about the price of groceries now is what eating out cost you 4 years ago.
Right. That's exactly right.
And so, I mean,
thank God we used to eat out like hogs all the time 4 years ago.
The cost of restaurants now is wild to me. I mean, we can't go have lunch for less than $40, the two of us. It's insane.
That's true. And we had 4 people on Friday, and it cost $90 after tip. It was $70 before tip.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah. And a couple of the people at the table had alcohol drinks. I did not. I had water and coffee, but that's just because I had a different event later that night that I knew I was going to be drinking heavy at.
Oh, okay. All righty then. So there you go. There's 5 out of 5 stars for the Outback Steakhouse in Kennewick, Washington.
Absolutely. And I moved away for 4 years. And the bartender, when I got my first meal there, when we came back, said, hey, David, I let them know your phone number, so your discount points are going to be active. It's going to go into your account. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And there's very few places I can do that. The other one in this community that I can do that at is Fat Olives in Richland.
Yeah.
They know me by name. They know my phone number. They know how to reach me, and they use me for their home loans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you have to have a place, Fat Olives and Outback are my place.
Now, third and final review.
Okay.
Here we go. We met a client at the Dugout in Kennewick, Washington, formerly known as Silos.
That's right.
So it was that one.
Yes.
For drinks.
Yes.
Friday night. Was it Friday night?
It was Friday night.
Okay. We ran home, made dinner, and then went, because I didn't want to pay to eat out.
Right.
I'm very, very cheap.
And we're not doing a bunch of fried food. So if you're having bar food, expect it to be fried food.
Well, and I've had bar food there. Not my favorite.
Okay.
So we went for drinks.
Yep. Just for drinks.
Yes. And you can't mess up a bullet rye neat.
Right.
You can't mess that up.
Absolutely correct.
Yet. I think I want to say this in their defense. I think we didn't get served. Nobody asked us. There was no service for you and me, but I think they were confused.
Right.
Because we were sitting there, and then within just a couple minutes of us sitting down, our client had come in, gotten 2 drinks, a glass of wine and a glass of water. And when we noticed that he was there and called him over to our table, he sat those 2 drinks down. And I think to the servers, it looked like you guys were on the outside of the table. If you were to look over at our table, there's 2 glasses there. It looks like you have drinks.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I think that in their defense, they thought somebody had already taken care of us.
Sure.
Right. And I kept trying to get somebody's attention, but it was busy and it just wasn't working. So eventually I went up to the bar and I tried to explain to her that she was busy though. She didn't want to hear my story. She wanted me to go back and sit down. What is it with bartenders wanting you to go sit down and let your server take your order? I don't come up to the bar unless the server already has not taken my order and I'm very patient. Like, I'm there to hang out.
Sure.
I'm not in a hurry. But we had told like 4 stories between us. We had caught up on life.
Yeah.
And still nothing. So anyway, I do think it was an honest mistake on their part.
Yes.
And I can't really give them an honest review because we didn't order any food or anything, and it's hard to screw up the drinks that we ordered. We didn't order like really intricate cocktails or anything.
Right.
I will say this about it though. I loved that we ran into everybody we know.
I'm telling you now, if you are looking for something to do on a Friday night and you are a regular in the Tri-Cities, Washington, pop on down to the dugout, the Silos dugout, and I guarantee you're going to run into somebody you know.
Yeah.
I saw an old buddy from racquetball. I saw my doctor.
Yeah.
I saw an attorney who I've been friends with for years. Mm-hmm. And I got a lot of business done in that meeting, actually.
Yeah, we saw a ton of people from all the different areas of our life. And it was honestly so much fun, and what a great start to the weekend. You know, we had our lunch with friends.
Right.
And that was great. You brought me flowers, and thank you very much.
It was FU Cancer Day.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite holidays.
Yeah. So Friday was my 3-year anniversary of getting that clear pathology report. And so that we celebrated. Then we went and had drinks with our friend and client who's become a friend.
Right.
And then it was just such a beautiful weekend, and the weather was gorgeous, and it couldn't have been a better Pacific Northwest spring weekend.
Right.
You know? So it was just a lot of fun. But that's my review of the dugout is like, you know, I mean, it's exactly what you think it's going to be. You're going to run into a bunch of people you know and have some great drinks.
And there were a lot of people there.
Like some trash bar food, that you can get it there.
Absolutely. And believe it or not, their lunches are not super expensive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We talked about the pub on last week's show about how we went and had good trash food at the pub.
Yeah.
I would say the trash food at Silo's dugout now.
Yeah,
the dugout. Very similar.
Okay.
Very similar.
When I went there a few weeks ago, I met somebody there, and I got the nachos, and I shouldn't have, because it comes out this great big tray. It's like I don't know what size it is, but it felt like a really big tray, like a 9.5 by 11 casserole dish. I'm sure it wasn't that big. And I ate like one tiny little corner of it. I had no idea it was going to be this huge thing.
Sure.
It's definitely a shareable. So if you go and you're with friends, get the nachos, because I know you can share them.
Typically, bar nachos are insanely large.
Yeah.
You know, if you get the small bar nachos at Uncle Sam's, I guess that's in Richland, Washington, I think, on that side of the street. As far over.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Could be Ken Oak. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's off gauge. That's what I can tell you. That small nacho is the size of a Thanksgiving serving platter. The large, I think they back a truck to your table.
Yeah.
You hear boop, 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 and then there it is.
Backing it up.
That's exactly right.
What else do you want to talk about? We hiked Badger Mountain yesterday. That was great fun.
Yep.
Took
that
our
was
time.
A beautiful,
lovely walk. I had a little picnic in my backpack, and we had a nice little picnic when we got to the top.
I don't mean to sound like I'm working for the Chamber of Commerce, but it was such a beautiful day and so nice to be able to walk up a mountain with you where we got married.
Yeah, actually, we stopped and visited our little marriage spot.
And then go find a off-trail place to sit in the grass.
Spread a blanket,
opened a bottle of wine, and
it was awesome.
Killed that bottle of wine.
Highly recommend. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have drank quite so much of that wine, but I highly recommend throwing a bottle of wine in the old backpack. It was great. It was so much fun.
It's a great place to hike. It's a great place to get to know someone and maybe even fall in love. And what a treat getting to have a glass of wine and toast our FU cancer together. So what a fun time that was.
Yeah. If you'd like to relocate to the Tri-Cities, Washington, because we talk so much about it, all you need to know is SherwoodAustinHomes.com.
That's right. At SherwoodAustinHomes.com, you can see all of the listings in the Tri-Cities. Mm-hmm. You can go through there without us capturing your information unless you want us to.
Yeah.
You can get in touch with us through there. Our email addresses are on there as well. Mm-hmm. So definitely do go to SherwoodAustinHomes.com if you're thinking about a move in 2024. Or if you're just
curious about our little neck of the woods.
Sure.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you ready for this, or you have something else to share?
Well, the only other thing I want to talk about in today's episode is the Friday, the ruling came down in the National Association of Realtor case.
Oh, yeah. I guess we should.
About buyer's agency. And in the state of Washington has been pretty proactive since the first court
2019,
case.
Washington Realtors, we started working on this.
Right.
2019, my friend.
Right.
So we're way ahead of the curve.
So I read the article on Friday that came out that said buyers are no longer going to be represented and realtors are going to leave the market like crazy.
There were so many inaccuracies in so many articles. It was ridiculous.
Yes. And they talked about how buyers are going to be forced to pay out of pocket because of this agreement for their representation. And the simple truth is, and they asked me at my other office at Red Mountain Mortgage this morning to shed some light on the article. And so I was able to, because Washington is literally leading the nation in how to deal with this prior to Friday's ruling.
Right.
And the simple truth is this: what the ruling is going to change for realtors in this market is once the changes are agreed upon, they haven't been agreed upon, sellers will no longer be able to advertise how much commission is being paid to a buyer's agent on the MLS. That's the only difference that's going to impact this marketplace. The ruling does not say that sellers cannot pay buyer's agent commission.
Yeah.
What it says is they can no longer advertise. And the reason they're doing that is because human nature. Well, if you're advertising a higher commission, then realtors are going to steer their people toward the higher commission. And I got news for you. If that's true, everybody should advertise a higher commission. Do you know what I mean? If you want to sell your house, advertise a higher commission, but that's going to go away.
Listen, sellers, you got to offer an incentive.
Right.
You got to. Okay, that's just the truth. Buyers are the ones who are going to get screwed in this whole thing, but I predicted it. I said 7 years ago, I made this statement. Within 10 years, sellers will no longer be carrying the burden of the buyer's agent commission.
Okay.
And I was told that I was nuts. I was crazy. Where was I getting that? I said, nope, because of consumers are going to get more and more and more savvy with the internet. You can Google anything.
Yep.
They are going to continue to get more savvy. And at some point, somebody's going to say, hey, wait a minute. And it'll change the structure of how we're paid. And I was told I was nuts. And here we are. I said within 10 years, here we are 7 years later. And I'm right on schedule. So when I'm sitting down with a client and I say, I'm never wrong about market trends, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Sure.
That's just one more trend that I was not wrong about.
Right.
So let me tell you this right now. If you're working with me, you better listen up. Because I'm just have a weird, uncanny sense of trends. I don't know why I know, but even in this.
Well, and the industry experts that were commenting about the ruling and what it will mean, they said it will mean lower priced housing. and I say, no, it won't,
No.
it'll mean higher personal profitability for a seller because they're already used to charging 6% in the price of the house.
Or whatever.
And you know what?
Percentage is.
Sure. I'm talking about sellers. I'm not talking about what realtors make.
Yeah.
They're already used to that number.
Yes, but it varies.
Sure,
2
it
to
does.
10%.
Absolutely. They're not going to give up their gains. They're just going to gain more.
Right.
That's how human nature works.
Right.
So thinking this is going to cause a slash in the price of housing is foolhardy.
So much of what I read, I finally quit reading.
Right.
Like, I'll read the actual judgment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anything else, I'm not reading. I'm not paying attention to. You're freaking out for nothing.
Absolutely. You may need to find a different way to justify your value to your clients. Congratulations, you're in competitive sales.
Right.
And that's it.
It's no different than me saying, work for your tip if you're a server.
That's right.
And I guess maybe that's why I say that, because that's kind of what I do.
Right.
I have to show my value. I have to hustle for my value.
Anyway. I heard a term the other day that made me want to set something on fire.
Oh, that's exciting.
Act your wage.
Oh.
That, to me, don't act your wage. That's like saying, dress for the job you have. Nope. Dress for the job you want.
It's just a difference in culture.
Act the wage you want to earn, not the wage you're earning. That's what I think. And I heard someone say, you know what? I'm doing all this extra work here at my job and everybody else is standing around. I need to remember to act my wage. Well, I don't get that. Why are we trying to do less? I don't like that term at all. That's all I have. That's the whole rant about act your wage.
When someone feels taken advantage of, they take a step back. I can think of 100 different examples. I've done this in relationships. I'm giving everything.
Mm-hmm.
The other person, whether it's a friend or a romantic partner or a coworker or a boss or whatever, I'm giving everything. You're not giving me what I need here, what I want, what has been agreed upon. So you know what? I'm going to step back and only give what's required.
Well, that's quiet quitting, and I think that's foolish.
I don't think
Actively
it's quiet
quit
quitting.
if you're not getting what you're deserved. If you're not getting what you deserve, quit and go do something else.
Relationships or
absolutely
whatever.
If you're in a relationship that you think is one-sided and all the efforts going out the door and not coming back in, that's time for a new hiring decision.
Well, some friendships are like that. Some relationships with your kids are like that. And each person gets to decide. What I'm trying to say is everybody gets to decide if they want to, how much effort they want to put in or not. That's all I'm saying.
Well, let me tell you this.
I don't give a shit if somebody wants to act their wage. Fine. You want to take a step back? That's fine, because you feel like you're getting passed over for things. I can totally understand that.
Let me tell you something. If I'm a manager and I say to someone, hey, I need you to do this. I know it's not typically what you do, but I need you to do this because I'm a little short-staffed. And they say, nope, that's not in my job description. I will say, you're fired. Thank you for stopping by.
Okay. That is not what happens.
Well, you're right.
And you can't.
Oh, I absolutely can.
Hang on.
I live in a right-to-work state. I can fire anybody without cause.
I understand, but I know who you're talking about, and I know what company it was, and no, they can't.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm
doing a hypothetical. I'm not talking about any person.
I'm talking about the person you heard that from.
The term. I don't know the circumstances of the person saying the term. I just don't like the term.
I'm just saying not everything's black and white. Not everything's black and white, and it doesn't happen like that. That's not what we're talking. We're not talking about when somebody says act your wage. Let me see if I can shed some light on this.
Help me, because I don't get it.
When somebody says that, they don't mean, my manager came to me and asked me, hey, this isn't typically under your job description, but I would like you to do this. And then I said to them, that is not in my job description. That's not what happens. Which, by the way, that's union work right there. So if you want everything to be very clear cut, you need to go join a union.
Sure.
However, that's not the way it happens. They're talking about something much more subtle, which is I give 110% every day, every time I'm on the job, and nobody gives a shit.
Well,
in fact, they
yes.
just keep taking advantage of my willingness to take on more and more.
And so what you do
without saying a word, they just begin to pull back.
Which I think is bad for any individual. What I think you should do,
I think it's healthy boundaries.
If you feel like you're in a job where you don't get the recognition you deserve, you should go find a job where you do get that recognition.
Absolutely.
And that's how I feel about it.
I don't disagree with that, but also it's good to have boundaries and say, you know what, I'm realizing I've overextended myself here. I'm doing way more than I should. And I'm just going to take a step back in this and do my job, but not let myself be used.
Okay.
I
think this is an interesting conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every job I've ever had, I felt like I have ownership in that position.
Me too. And it's been for me, I have been what's the word I'm looking for? Used.
For me, I've earned everything I've ever wanted because I work hard.
Yeah, same.
And if I've had an employer,
but I have definitely given too much to some employers. I've definitely given too much to some relationships.
Yeah.
I definitely have given too much to my detriment.
If I have an employer that I feel is standing in my way of being the best that I can be for me, I no longer work for that employer. That's just how I run my life. Mm-hmm. I don't change the way I do things. I change who I do them for.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is why I don't like the term act your wage. I don't ever want to be just okay because that's all they're paying me for.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I think that you're looking at it in too narrow of a scope.
I am. And the only way I can look at it's through my eyes, right?
No.
Whether or not I have tunnel vision is immaterial. I can only see things my way. It's just like the difference between empathy and sympathy. I often say I sympathize, I cannot empathize. I often say it because I don't understand how it feels to feel like someone else. That's a skill that I wish I had. You know who does have that in spades? You do. Yeah. You're awesome at that. You can put yourself in other people's shoes. I wish I could.
It's just a muscle that you develop.
Right. And it takes some understanding. All right. Let's get off that heavy stuff and talk about the listings.
Okay. All right. So what's new in our market? Let's take a look. We like to give you, what the hell is that?
You opened the wrong thing. Just open this one.
Oh, I can't see.
There you go.
We like to give you a snapshot of what's happening in our little community besides some gorgeous weather.
There are 9 new listings today on the MLS locally.
That's way down. Way down. We've got some commercial. We've got some land. We got some in Whitman. Man, Whitman is hot right now. That's not really next to us, but let's try to jump into Tri-Cities.
There's one.
Here's one. This listing is courtesy of Christine Connolly. This is the least expensive new listing on the market right now. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on Young Street that's Grandview. That's not even that's like 30 minutes from us. So I don't want to look at that one. Sorry, Christine.
Although Christine's listings in Grandview move quickly because she's a great realtor.
West Richland?
Sure. West Richland's fine. Is that what you said?
Yeah, West Richland's the next one. So we'll just go to that one. West Richland, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. On Norma Street.
Okay.
And this one is $424,900. It's listed by, I think, Melissa Raymond at Selsky and Associates.
Okay.
Some of the people we ran into
We did.
Friday
We
night.
ran into the
So much
Selskys.
fun. 1,975 square feet, and it was built in 1978. And the purchase price, again, $424,900.
Okay, let's look at
So
this.
$425,000 basically.
Okay.
We're on almost half an acre here, which is kind of nice.
So it's a split level. You walk in the front door and go up or down.
You might know it as mid-entry or California split or split level. Those are all the different ways we say that sometimes.
Is that very similar to Peter and Chanel's house?
Deck off the back, blah, blah, blah. Pretty. You know what? We'll just throw some sheets up here.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Listen, I'm going to be salty. I don't care.
They let the kids pick their room colors, and I love that. I fully support that.
America, America, God should.
Seahawks.
What's going on here?
That's a room in the basement, I bet.
That's probably why they're moving. They need one more bedroom. Mom and Dad need their privacy.
That's
Cute
exactly
laundry
right.
room. But wait, this room's in.
That's in the basement as well.
Oh, so maybe they've got I wonder if they have a bounce back kid. That's why we're in a 2-bedroom condo. No bounce back kids for us.
Isn't it interesting
Get out.
that's what a $425,000 house looks like right now?
If by interesting you mean I can't believe it, then yes. All right. Here is interesting. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story on Greenbrook Boulevard in Richland, Washington. And this listing comes to us courtesy of Justin Maltos.
Love Justin.
Yep. Hey, Justin, give me a call. I got some stuff to talk to you about. From Home Smart Elite Brokers. And I was 2140 square feet, built in 1977. So pretty comparable to the one we just looked at.
Okay.
Yet this one's 509,000.
Well, let's look at it.
On a smaller lot. So interesting, right? This is in Meadow Springs, and that's probably partly why. And I wonder if maybe it's updated or something. It's a 2-story instead of a mid-entry. So that's different, but very similar kind of era. So that's why what's happening here?
That's an office. That's like somebody's desk in the kitchen to do bills.
Oh, I gotcha.
It was built in the 70s.
Yep.
Oh, that's a galley style kitchen.
That's a
interesting look.
Oof. I said maybe it's updated. No,
it's not. No.
That would be an NO. So I was just talking with someone earlier this morning about how prices are kind of all over the place.
Right.
This was a client. I was called in to consult on a listing that's coming up by another realtor.
Sure.
And she wanted me to talk with her clients as well to kind of shed some light. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask about this style of vacuuming so it leaves marks on the floor. How do you like that?
I don't care at all. For some people, they find it very satisfying. Great, you vacuumed. Thanks. I mean, some people like it.
I find it
really
weird.
Okay.
I just do a straight line. I don't know how you even do that. I see it all the time in pictures.
Oh,
and I don't get it.
I can show you. It's not that hard to.
It's like doing a design in the grass, kind of, with a lawnmower. You know.
Okay. Well, anyway, I don't even remember what I was saying.
I'm sorry,
so
I
thanks
interrupted
for interrupting
you.
with that.
I saw that and I wondered how you felt about it.
I feel like it's vacuumed. That's great. Boy, this is just a whole lot of boring.
Dated.
This is a whole lot of boring. In my opinion, it's because somebody's going to fall in love with. Oh, we were talking about the price. Okay, so the client said to me, "Yeah, I don't understand the price per square foot right now because," and he gave me a couple of examples, and I was like, "You and me both, dude." I'm going to an appraiser class in a week or so, and I've got questions. I am fixing to ask some questions of those appraisers about, you can't rely on price per square foot. You just can't, because it's all over the place. Here's a perfect example of it. So
I think the house that was $75,000 cheaper is nicer.
Interesting.
But you are on the golf course, and that's beautiful. So is there a benefit to being on the golf course?
I don't know. To someone, yes.
Yes.
To someone is the answer to that question. Next. Whitman. Nobody cares about Whitman.
Somebody does.
Yeah. That's commercial, industrial. That's it, man. That's
9. So slim pickings.
Oof. Well, and so let me tell you, I want to speak to first-time home buyers that are on a budget right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yes.
First-time home buyers, if you're balling on a budget, let's say you need a home, great neighborhood, amazing location,
Under $250?
close to the river, close to stores and shopping, yet weirdly secluded.
Yes.
Park-like.
Yes.
Speaking of park, just down the road from the Pasco Youth Baseball field and a little further along, the another beautiful little park that is the beginning of what is commonly called the Sacagawea Heritage Trail.
Oh, I gotcha.
Right here.
We were right there.
Very close. There is a home at 1225 South 13th Street in Pasco, Washington that needs someone to love it.
Yes.
It's in great condition. It's very small. I'll give you that. It's 513 square feet.
It's a sweet, cozy cottage.
It is. It's very small, but it is on this incredible property. You can build out the house 3 different directions with no problem at all. City services, so you can expand the home. There's a little shop there, but you could easily remove it and replace it with a much bigger shop.
Yes.
Big, mature shade trees. I mean, the property's incredible. If you were like a business owner, like a landscaper or something like that, and you've got a bunch of equipment or trucks that you need to park somewhere, there's a ton of parking. If you've got a boat or a motorhome or something, ton of parking that you just like to have parties. Great outdoor space to, grill and have friends over, and there's plenty of parking there. But keep it down because it is a very quiet neighborhood.
It is a super quiet neighborhood.
You guys, we got to get this place moved for our seller. Like, they need to just be able. They just need to be able to move on. And we came out of the gate a little high, right? So it kind of sat and lost some time on the market. Against my recommendation. Again, I'm never wrong, but now we're in the sweet spot. We're in the pocket, $230,000.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know the Tri-Cities market, you're a realtor and you're listening to me, you know there are only 3 stick-built homes in the Tri-Cities under $230,000, and ours is one of them. So please give it a look.
And I would say,
and I don't usually do a hard ad like that, but we for the sake of our client, I'm begging you to take a look at it.
And I would say, of the 3 under 230,000, it's by far the nicest. Now, that could be puffing. Perfectly legal.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly legal.
Okay. One of them that is in under 230, it is only 209,000. It is in a different city. It's in Richland, but it also is 398 square feet.
There you go.
So it's a little bit tinier.
Right.
And just on a tiny little city lot. With no trees and stuff.
Right.
So that's why this place is there's just a little bit of special magic to it. I don't know.
I like it.
There you go.
This has been an informative show, and we talked pretty seriously about some things, right?
Yeah, because we almost got in a fight.
We talked about the act your wage, which is something I hate.
It's such a trigger for you, and I don't care at all.
It is a trigger for me. As a business owner, it's a trigger for me.
Yeah, middle-aged guy. You're a different generation.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's just different thought. You don't think about setting boundaries for yourself.
That's exactly right. The boundaries at work?
I do.
Yeah. The boundaries that are set at work are set by the people who have workplace safety guidelines like
Not
OSHA.
Anymore. Not anymore.
You know what I mean?
You know, a lot of companies talk about company culture.
Right.
That's all they're talking about is exactly that. What we just did, but in, like, if you reverse worked it, I
like it. For Londa, Joanne, Sherwood, Austin, my name is David Austin. We'll see you next week right here at The Session with Londa and David.